How do you know if you're having a midlife crisis or you're just leveling up in your 40s? Why are so many people making wild decisions? And what does positive aging really mean? We're going to get into it. Let's get. Welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives. I'm your host, Bruce Anthony, here to lead the conversation in important events and topics that are shaping today's society. Join the conversation and follow us wherever you get your audio podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for our video podcasts and YouTube exclusive content. Rate, review, like, comment, share. Share with your friends, share with your family, hell, even share with your enemies. On today's episode, we're breaking down the myths of the midlife crisis. Are you spiraling or leveling up in your 40s? Plus, I'm going to give you guys a wild sneak peek into our After Hours Uncensored show, and then we're diving into a juicy Reddit relationship drama. But that's enough of the intro. Let's get to the show. So, guys, this is a holiday weekend, and my sister is busy, and I'm going to take a little vacation. But that does not mean that I'm not going to give you guys content. This show is a compilation of 2 of our YouTube exclusive shows and a sneak peek into one of our After Hours Uncensored shows. I want to let all the parents know parental discretion is advised. We will also not be releasing a show this Tuesday, but we will be back next Friday. We'll be back in just 1 week. But if you want some more original content from us, we will be releasing a YouTube exclusive on our YouTube page on Tuesday. That would replace the normal audio podcast or video podcast show. But without further ado, here's the very first YouTube exclusive. Not the very first YouTube exclusive we ever did, but the very first YouTube exclusive that we're going to be featuring in this show, and it's talking about midlife crisis and positive aging. Let's get into it. Jay, this YouTube exclusive and this topic, and the reason why I'm making a YouTube exclusive topic and not on the podcast is because I'm not going to throw people under the bus, but I kind of am. Mm-hmm. I don't know why people talk to me. It's going to become content. It's going to become content.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to be 45 in a few months. You are going to be 41 this summer.
Yep.
Our friend group, our peers are typically our age, right?
Yes,
and this is when they say that you get that midlife crisis going.
I definitely did. That's why I'm in school.
Well, okay. So no, you didn't. What you are doing is evolving. And there's a difference between a crisis and evolving. As we get older, we naturally evolve. Our positions and things that we view that we were younger is going to change and evolve. So some things change and evolve. Some things are a legitimate crisis. And I have a few friends that are coming to me. And this is the first time I've actually seen a female crisis. With the male crisis, you typically see it. They start acting younger. They start getting earrings, dangling earrings.
It feels very pointed.
No,
all right.
I actually am not going through a crisis because there is never any point that in my life where I felt like I missed out on something.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not out here trying to date young women. Like, I specifically tell the young women, you too young for me.
Yeah.
I'm not messing with you. You don't got nothing for me.
Yeah.
I'm not buying cars or anything like that, so no, I'm not going through a crisis. I actually am doing things that I know that I want to do, have always wanted to do, because I know, this is morbid, that my time here is more time behind me than there is ahead of me.
We winding down.
We head into the upper room.
Yeah.
But that's part of it, right?
Yeah.
Getting this, people hit this midlife crisis because in the 40s, because like, you're either at the halfway point or you're past the halfway point.
Yeah.
Right. And so what is the difference between midlife crisis and what's naturally evolving? And I'm going to get into the different aspects of what is midlife crisis and what's positive aging. That's a term, positive aging.
Okay.
But have you experienced anything around your peer group, people that are around your age that you think is a crisis, but might not be a crisis?
I've been calling my decision to make this career pivot and go back to school. I've been telling people this is my midlife crisis, that I was dissatisfied with my life and I'm at the midpoint and I'm like, something's got to change. And Black women, we gonna get a degree or
Or
LLC.
LLC, right?
And so I went and I got getting a degree. So I have been calling this my midlife crisis, but I would like to think of this as positive aging.
It's absolutely positive aging. So what are some of the differences that are midlife crisis and positive aging? So let's go with the emotional state, because that's typically where it goes through.
Mm-hmm.
That's typically where it starts, right?
Yeah.
Aspects of a midlife crisis in an emotional state is high anxiety, regret, dissatisfaction, and sleeplessness. If you have any of those things, you might be going through a midlife crisis. But an example of positive aging is optimism, gratitude, and acceptance.
Yeah.
So the reason why I say you going off and doing a career pivot, you're more optimistic about your future.
Yeah. Yes.
And you're accepting that this is my future. You might have had anxiety, but it wasn't anxiety of getting older. It was anxiety of, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
So you switched, but the switch isn't being impulsive and doing something detrimental to your well-being.
Okay.
It's doing something that's positive.
Right. So I was feeling that anxiety, that dissatisfaction. And so I did something to turn it into gratitude. And I've become accepting and optimistic about getting older.
Which leads us into the behavioral patterns of somebody who's going through a midlife crisis or somebody who's doing positive aging. A behavioral pattern of somebody that's going through midlife crisis is impulsivity, risky spending, or substance abuse.
Yeah.
Now, you know, like weed, but I
don't abuse it.
Right, you don't abuse it.
I don't abuse it.
A behavioral pattern of somebody who's doing positive aging is purposeful activities.
Okay.
Writing books, achieving goals, like going back to school.
Well, hey, all right.
See, so when you put this into the context, a lot of my friends are starting to do impulsive things. Do you know? I have more 40-year-old friends now. I'm sorry, but I gotta say it. I've got more 40-year-old friends, mid-40s, that have gotten herpes from their sexual partners than I ever experienced of people in their 20s. Now, herpes is a thing, is more prevalent than people realize.
Yes.
But the reason why they got them, one, their partners were cheating on them, but their partners were people that they should not have been with at their big age.
Right.
It was people that you could see on paper wasn't the right situation for them.
This is a risky choice.
But because of their age and their impulsivity, they were making risky choices that put them in that situation. Just like men being like, I'm going to give me a young girl. Nah, bro, you 45.
Yeah.
Don't try to mess with no 20-year-old popping Viagra and trying to maintain.
Putting on shoes with the rubber soles.
Right.
So you can go dancing.
You're going to mess around and give yourself a heart attack messing with these young ass women. And guess what? You ain't gonna be able to. Well, some men are really immature, so I guess they can have conversations with 26-year-old women, but I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. So that's not risky behavior that I'm gonna do. So yes, there's a difference between behavior patterns between midlife crisis and positive aging. So you are positively aging.
Nice.
Another one is focusing or dwelling on past mistakes or comparing oneself unfavorably to others. Versus positive aging, which is embracing new challenges and personal growth.
I am positively aging, y'all. That is really nice. I mean, seriously, because this entire time I've literally been calling this my midlife crisis.
No, there's a difference. Crisis, some people are actually going through a crisis.
Yeah.
But there should be another term called midlife awakening.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That would be equal to, or that would transition to positive aging.
Yeah.
Because all this is, I talked about it. I think I came up with this term previously. Didn't I come with this term previously?
Midlife awakening? No.
Yeah, something like that. Midlife evolution. I came with something like this on a previous podcast. I said something like this because I said I've been going through it throughout my 40s. Like
Mhm.
people are like, "You going through a crisis?" It's like, why am I going through a crisis? Because your mentality is changing. I was like, I feel like my mentality is changing for the better.
I feel like I've grown up.
Yes,
I feel
like
like I've grown up.
I don't want
And
to do kid stuff no more.
and
Well, that's not true. I still want to play video
I
games.
still absolutely want to do kid things because millennials, we lost our childhood a little
We
bit
did. did.
because the world is so crazy. But like,
Mhm.
I feel like I've grown up in that I'm taking more accountability for my own life, in that I realize, like, hey, I'm on the other side of a hill. I only got so much time left in front of me. What am I going to do with it to make sure that in my final days, I feel content with the life that I've led?
Mhm.
So I think that's where the awakening kind of comes up. Like, it's like, okay, you start thinking about your mortality and you're just like, would I be content with the life that I've led so far? And if the answer is no, then you're like, okay, let's make some changes.
Right. If you about to go to that upper room and your life flashes before your eyes and you like, that's all I did. Let's
Yeah.
make some changes.
Yeah.
So another example of midlife crisis versus positive aging is physical engagement decline due to stress or neglect.
Mm,
So you just, you're not doing anything. You laying up and you chilling and you ain't doing nothing.
mhm.
Versus positive aging, which is an active lifestyle, i.e., exercising or pursuing hobbies.
Yeah.
So some people will get into their 40s and they'll just be like, all right, I'm good. Like
Yeah.
I got a few people that are just like, well, whatever. And
Yeah.
me mentally, I can't wait to get there to where I don't have to work out anymore. But that's not going to be till like 60, around late 60s, early 70s. I'm not going
Yeah.
to care no more after that. I'm gonna eat all the Popeyes chicken I want.
No.
Eat a chicken sandwich every day.
You
Because by
think
that,
so, but once you get to that age, you be like, no, I'm trying to stay here for a little bit longer.
well, okay, maybe. Right. Okay.
I don't see a world in which you specifically are not active.
Not active, right? I'm
Yeah.
always going to do something because
Yeah.
my anxiety dictates that I have to do something or else I'm
Yes.
going to go crazy.
Yes.
But to work out this hard, to work out 6 days a week and watch my dad like that, eventually I'm going to get to an age where I'm good.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't have to do this
Yeah.
anymore.
But
But
now is not that time.
now's not the time. But there are some people who absolutely are, and then I see other people who are absolutely becoming obsessed,
Yeah.
which isn't necessarily a good thing in and of itself, being
Right.
obsessed about it, but have become super active because once again, when you get to this age, it's like, I'm on the other side. I
Mm-hmm.
want to be here a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Social connections. All right. Withdrawing from relationships versus building meaningful relationships. When
Yeah.
midlife crisis hits, that often stems from an existential concerns or society pressures leading to impulsive behavior and dissatisfaction. Positive aging focuses on embracing life changes with purpose, adaptability, optimism. Both paths reflect different ways of navigating the challenges of middle age and beyond. No, goodness, and beyond.
Yeah.
I messed that up. But
Yeah.
okay, so this
But
might be a situation where I'm going through a crisis because I have
yes,
withdrawn from relationships.
the number of people that I see that in their 40s and up that ain't got no friends, boy, oh boy, you gonna wish you had them friends when you're retired and you don't have nothing to do with your day.
hmm
You gonna wish you had people to talk to. You gonna wish you had built meaningful relationships. And the crazy thing is, and I love that I'm every time you do a versus, I'm on the positive aging side. I've become at this age more invested in strengthening my relationships with people and creating meaningful interactions with people. Like I've become more invested in doing that because I know how important, especially as we get older, building community is
Yeah.
and having good people around you. Because I mean, look, one by one, we gonna start as we get older to have those conversations. You hear about so and so, she passed on. You hear about so and so, he's gone now. Like you're going to need people. I hate when I see in high school, I volunteered at a I don't like old folks home. What's it? A retirement community.
Mhm.
And just the amount of people just with nobody to visit them.
Mm.
Not a
Well, maybe they was
friend.
nasty. Maybe they was nasty.
Yeah, but I mean, again, that's it. That's also something, right? It's
Mhm.
like you didn't step outside of yourself, take your ego out of whatever you got going on, and build meaningful relationships and community with people. You couldn't get out of your own way to do that. And now you're at the winter of your life and you're alone. And
Mhm.
that's sad. It's really sad.
Well, I think that when I first read this about relationships, I was like, whoa, I'm in a midlife crisis because I've been killing a lot of relationships. But
I don't
also,
think that's true.
well, no, I have. I've been cutting relationships with people that I'm like, I don't. This doesn't benefit me anymore.
Exactly.
But
It's different.
if it's something meaningful, then I gravitate towards that.
Yeah.
So for all those people out there that are in their 40s, you need to look at this list and determine: are you going through a crisis or positive aging?
Yeah.
Because you could be like my sister and think you're going through a crisis and be positive aging. And you could also think that you're positively aging and you could be going through a crisis. You need to examine which one. And then if you're going through a crisis, get some help. It's some people out there that can help you through your tough times.
Yeah.
Getting older doesn't mean that we have to get worse. I
Yes.
actually think it's getting better, like wine, aging like fine wine. That's how
Hey.
we gonna do it. For our next YouTube exclusive, we're going to be talking about a crazy Reddit story about a marriage that has gone awry. Let's get to it. Okay, Jay, we went on my favorite social media, Reddit, and found another Am I Overreacting? The title of it is Wife Lies Makes No Money. So let me read it to the ladies and gentlemen. Let me read it to you guys, and then I'm gonna get your response from it. So this is what the person wrote in their post from Reddit. I'm lost at the moment, folks. Some background. My wife and I have been together for 7 years. She is currently unemployed. When we first started dating, she got a new job, quotation marks, and all of her previous have been six figures. At the time, I was younger by a few years and just getting into my career. Since that job, she hasn't held a new job more than 2 years. She's currently unemployed and has been for 15 months. She deals with anxiety and depression, etc., and I'm trying to be supportive of her mental shortcomings. Hmm. We are now
Yeah,
married
that
several
made me
years.
cringe.
Yeah, we are now married several years. She held a job for a good time while we got married. It was after marriage, everything seemed to fall apart. She's on her second firing backslash layoff since 2022, and we are broke. I've liquidated 25K of my retirement savings already just to make ends meet. We own a home we can't afford and debt we can't pay off. Then this evening, she got drunk tonight, and in her drunken state, this is his words, ladies and gentlemen. I'm
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
read it. Mentioned that I'm sorry I lied to you and I made you think I was successful. I've never been able to keep a job. I dug in to get more clarity here, and more or less, she gets a six-figure job for a year and then gets fired or quits. Just before us meeting, she took a year sabbatical, which I'm realizing now just means she got fired and didn't want to work. I married her under the certain impression of financial stability. We have a lifestyle built around such. I've drained my retirement making ends meet. Her only contributing in the last 6 months is draining hers. Tonight, she states that applying for jobs like what I had before is a 7 to 10 and stress. Mind you, this is applying, not interviewing, not taking a job, applying with three exclamation points.
Mm-hmm.
Am I overreacting? We both want kids. I've never entertained that. We can't afford it. We are barely making ends meet now. Also, I feel like I was lied to majorly in all caps about where our finances are. Making six figures is awesome, but the fact that she can't afford a job, can't hold a job for a year is totally different. Okay, Jay, what do you think about all that?
He is absolutely not overreacting. She lied.
She did lie.
She
Yeah.
lied. And listen, again, marriage is a business agreement. It's a partnership deal. You have to sign a contract. To get into it, you got to go to a judge to get out of it. It is a business deal. And in that, inherent in that, is the financial discussion. And there is nothing wrong with thinking that you guys are in a certain place and going to have a certain kind of lifestyle and relying on that. Right? Um and she lied. First of all, I don't know what industry she's in, but she needs to get out of it. Clearly, it causes her way too much stress to work in that industry, even though she makes good money. She needs to find something else to do. Like that's the answer. That I was having stress in the industry I was in, so now I'm in school to do something that I really want to do. Now, consequently, what I really want to do is gonna make me some money, so that's great. But but I've decided to do something that I really want to do. So she's obviously in the wrong industry. No, you're not overreacting. She lied. But now that you know that, if you want to stay together, y'all are going to have to probably sell that house. Y'all probably gonna have to give up some assets to get out of debt. And she's gonna have to figure out what it is that she can do that she can do for an extended amount of time and bring some money. You can't just not work just because you don't it gives you stress. Also, mental health issues are not shortcomings. My God. I could like literally my skin crawled when I read that. But no, he's not overreacting. Not at all. She lied. And she admitted, I'm sorry I lied to you about being successful. It shouldn't have taken him that long. I said taken. It shouldn't have taken him that long, honestly, to realize. I mean, homegirl ain't been working for 2 years. Y'all probably
Well, off and on. She hasn't
right,
been working.
but she hadn't been working for the last 15 months.
Yeah,
So
well, yeah.
it should, like a couple months into that, you should have been like, hey, we need to start making some decisions because we're draining our retirement to try to keep up a lifestyle that we are not a part of, like that we cannot afford. Children are out of the question until y'all get out of debt and get on your feet. Like that's absolutely out of the question. But yeah, I mean, they both kind of need to get real and about their situation. And you're married now, and if you want to stay married, you're gonna have to work together to figure it out. But she can't just use her mental health issues as a crutch to not do anything.
Okay. I think I might surprise you with my answer.
Okay.
I think the situation is way more nuanced. And I think he is not overreacting and overreacting at the same time.
Explain.
Okay. So, yes, she was not truthful.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time in most relationships, people hold something close to the cards that come out during the marriage. And you just like, wait a minute, I wasn't expecting this before. And it was like, oh, surprise.
Yeah.
So that in that regard, he absolutely is right for his reaction. He should feel deceived.
Yes.
Also, it's not only a contract, but there are things that you say when on your wedding day. And one of the things is be there for you through thick and thin,
For
health, richer for
better or for
poor, better
worse.
for worse, richer for
Yeah.
poor. I wish I remember the words because I said them almost 15 years ago, but I don't remember.
It was
But
15 years ago.
yeah, but it was something like that, right?
Yeah.
So
The
he
for
needs
better or for worse part is
is the
people remembers that.
yeah
Yes.
for richer for poor,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
one of the things.
In sickness and in health. Yes.
Sickness and in health. So if you're not real about that commitment,
Mhm.
then you came into the marriage under false pretenses as well.
Yeah.
So
Most people are not serious when they I in my opinion, because I'm biased because I don't understand marriage, but it feels to me like, yeah, I'm saying for richer for poorer, but I'm marrying a baller, so I'm straight. Like nobody's really thinking about it. And then a lot of problems come in when something does happen.
hello, I was serious about mine. I took
Yeah.
those words very, very seriously. But like, so if that's the case, then he walked into it being deceitful as well. So you had two
Yeah.
people walking into a marriage being deceitful.
Mhm.
And mental health is not shortcomings, like you said.
Mhm.
He needs to acknowledge that. And yes, it was great that she was making six figures. Might need to make a career change. Might need to go back to school. Definitely need to downsize your life. Probably should have downsized your life after the first 6 months. I had a friend who got
Yes.
married, and 6 months into the marriage, his wife quit her job. Now, at the beginning, he was supportive. He was like, "Oh, if it's stressing you out, quit your job. Cool, find another job." 2, 3 months into it, she's still not working. I'm going to him every day. Every day, like, "She still ain't got no job?" "No."
Mhm.
And then I said, and this is patriarchy, I know it. Then I said, "Well, at least, you come home to a home-cooked meal and the house is clean." He says, "No, I leave for work and she's on the couch. I come back from work and she's on the couch." I was like,
Yeah.
"Well, obviously she's going through something.
Yes.
So probably should get her some help." But also, you kind of need to have a conversation with her, like, "Hey,
Yeah.
we got to do something here because something got to be contributed to this household."
Yes.
So, my man, look, you thought life was going to be a certain way. We all plan for certain things. We
Yes.
all plan for our lives to be a certain way.
Yes.
Sometimes you got to switch up. Sometimes you just have to switch up. If I decided right now that I wanted to downsize my life to give myself more time for this podcast, I would have to downsize my life. That would
Yeah.
mean that I would have to stop working as hard as I do to make the money that I make. I would have to downsize to where I live. I'd probably have to get a little bit cheaper. Probably have to shop at Aldi for all my groceries. Probably wouldn't be able to drink Casamigos anymore. Probably got to drink the Kirkland brand tequila, which is just fine on a regular basis, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I would downgrade my life to do the things that I want to do that would
Right.
bring me happiness.
Right.
Bruh, you thought it was gonna be one way. It's not. So that's the reason why I said it was a lot more nuanced. Like, he's overreacting, but also not overreacting
Yeah.
because she was deceitful, but at the same time, life happens and you gotta switch up.
Yeah. I disagree. I think no, I hear you, but I hear your perspective, but I disagree. I think when you say those vows, you're saying them in good faith of like, I'm not saying for richer or for poor. I'm saying that if life happens, I'm gonna be there.
Mhm.
That is not a a license to give people carte blanche to do whatever they want. She's doing whatever she wants,
But
and that's
also
not
suffering through
working.
mental health issues.
And is she getting help for that?
Well, that's what I said. I was like, "Yo, first of all, these aren't things that she's going." What did he call them again?
Mental shortcomings or
Yeah,
something
mental
like that?
okay, not mental shortcomings, right?
But
Like,
you can't I if anybody understands how bad your situation can get when you're not taking care of your mental health, I understand.
mhm,
But you have a partner now. You can't just use that as a crutch to not do anything when you have a responsibility to somebody else too.
mm.
You're not just responsible for yourself. And so she's not honoring the vows that she made.
Yeah, okay, you're right about that. She's not
So
angry.
if he said those vows in good faith, and now we're here 2 years in, and yeah, I said for richer for poorer, but we're supposed to be working together towards something. We're supposed to have some duty, obligation, responsibility to each other.
But there's also sickness and health, right? Sickness and
Yes.
health means, I mean, mental health is a part of that. So he should also be supportive in her sickness and in health.
Yeah, oh, I definitely agree he has some learning to do because the to call it shortcomings lets me know that you don't understand the headspace that she's in. But I'm also saying that she has a responsibility to him also.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the reason why I said it's nuanced.
Yes.
I said he's not overreacting and overreacting at the same time.
I disagree. I think he I think he was deceived. I think
Yeah.
it doesn't sound, I mean, we're getting his side. We don't know what's going on with her. We don't. But from his perspective, which I'll admit is probably skewed because just of the way he called things shortcomings, um, it doesn't seem like it's like your friend and his wife just sitting on she's on the couch when he leaves, she's on the couch when he comes back. That's not upholding your part of the vows.
Yeah. 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 You're right.
Because there is things within your control. If you can't work because your depression or anxiety is so bad that you can't work, then you need to do something you need to get some help. You need to be working towards fixing issues. You can't let them sit like that. There is help out there. Like, so to me, I don't think he's overreacting. I just don't. I think if the situation was reversed and you had a woman that was relying on her man, you come into it expecting a certain lifestyle that you two would build together, and he lied about it, everybody would be calling him a dog.
Yeah.
Even without even asking what he's going through. Right? So we have to apply we keep that same energy. We don't know what she's going through, but we also know she's not doing anything about it, from his perspective.
Okay. Well, that's the reason why I have you on the show, to agree and disagree with me at the same time. As I said at the top, going to give you guys a sneak peek of one of our episodes of the After Hours Uncensored. Now, I did say at the beginning, parental discretion is advised. Parental discretion is severely advised during this episode. We start out cussing. I mean, we cussing throughout the whole 30 minutes of this segment, but it is a sneak peek of one of the episodes of After Hours Uncensored. Once again, you can check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/unsolicited perspectives. But once again, I'm giving all of my parents warning. We be cussing in this next segment. All right, that's enough of this intro. Go ahead and enjoy it. I had a very interesting situation that happened to me this week.
Are we in the after hours?
Yeah, we in the after hours now.
Damn, we ain't getting no break.
You need a break?
Nah, I mean, I guess I just sip my little soda. Tell me what happened. Goddamn.
What? That's how we normally go. We normally, unless
you'll be like, hey, let me go refresh my drink. Or something. There's a little break. You just said 5, 4, 3. Like, we got another YouTube exclusive. What we doing?
No.
Oh, damn, we finishing up. Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm trying. Hey, look, I'm trying to get to my Sunday fun day. Okay, I just slobbered on myself.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, that just happens. All right, this is what happened. Okay, I got to give you a backstory. The story is kind of long, but not really long. I'm trying to make it short. So, there's a young lady that I always thought was my friend. Okay. So another one of those situations, right?
Yeah.
That I often find myself in. And this one was a little different because she was the stepdaughter of a client.
Okay.
So I knew the couple, the stepmother, interracial couple. I love that couple, right? Okay. Interracial couple. The woman was around my age. The father was older. The father was a retired Army guy. Got drunk with him one time, told me, he was like, yeah, I'm the guy that they sent to go assassinate people. And I was like, bro, I don't think you're supposed to be telling me.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to still be under NDA for that. But
yeah. Okay. And I was like, I don't really want to know this. What if somebody come and try to torture me to get information? I'm going to give you up. Like, I don't really know you like that. And also, I'm not going to go through torture. Yeah,
like at all. Like as soon as the guy comes in and unfurls the little bit of thing and it's got all these tools in it, and I'm like, listen, you ain't even got to do all that. Go give me an extra value meal, with a Sprite and a tape recorder. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, I was like, look, all you had to do was walk in and ask me something first. You ain't even asked me. Hold on, man. You
just assumed that I was gonna hold this information. I don't even know why I'm here. Ask me a question first.
And I was like, those tools look real torturous. Like, what were you planning? Look, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Come in with a car battery for what?
Like, look. And it don't have to be no expensive extra value meal. Just give me a Big Mac and fries. I don't even really need you can give me water. I don't even need no Sprite. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was real cool with them. And they were like, I wasn't her direct trainer. She took a class, the stepmother. And they were like, hey, my stepdaughter is staying with us for the summer. She's a college volleyball player. Can you train her? And I was like, yeah, I could train her. So I gave her, it was like we did a couple of sessions just to like keep her in shape during the summer. It wasn't that many. Like I was not her trainer.
Yeah.
It was one time we were at the bar. I was at the bar. Remember, she's college, so she's underage, and she's
Mhm.
drinking, and she's at the table with these guys.
Mhm.
It's like 3 or 4 guys, and I was like, "Oh, hey," I was at the bar. I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" It's like, "Do you know those guys?" "No, not really. They're buying me drinks." I was like,
Mhm.
"I'll walk you home."
Yeah.
She's like, "No, I don't need to be walked home. I'll be fine." I was like, "Okay, I'll walk you home."
Yeah.
And as I was leaving, I was like, because she was like, "No, don't worry about it." As I was leaving, I was like, "Hey, I'm leaving. Do you want to leave with me?" She's like, "Yeah, I think I'll leave with you." And sure enough, as we were walking, we left out, they were following us. And I pointed
Mhm.
it out to her, and I was like, "See, I could tell that those guys, like, look at what they're doing. They're following
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
This wasn't going to be a good situation." So
Right.
because of that, she knew that I would always look after her, and we became friends. We in my mind, legitimately became friends. Anytime she
Okay.
came in town, she was like, "Hey, do you want to hang out?" And there's a real age disparity, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be
Yeah.
like 10 years.
Yeah.
Um,
But
but we would hang
everybody, we always had that one older friend that was just a good, solid person. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And when her parents moved, when the stepmother and the father moved to Florida, she was going to a college right down the street from me.
Mhm.
And this is after I split with my ex, and she she would be like, "Hey, what are you doing? Can I stop by and hang out?" Like, yeah. And I knew it was to get out of the house that she was living in with her roommates.
Mhm.
She needed something that was older and more mature, and every now and then to get out of that stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
I helped her move out of that townhouse to put her stuff in storage when all of her roommates like didn't lift a finger, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So she leaves, she graduates, she leaves, and like I didn't hadn't heard from her for months.
Mhm.
And I reached out to her and I was like, "Hey, how you doing? How you been? I haven't heard from you in a while." And then she said something, I'm paraphrasing this is how I read it.
Mhm.
It's like, "We're not really friends like that anyway." And I was like, "Oh, okay. All right, cool."
Yeah.
What and so I like just stopped reaching out. Through
Yeah.
the years, she would now and then reach out, like, "Hey, how you doing? How you catch up?" I thought we weren't friends, but I'm not that type of petty. So I'm like, all right, I know you are,
She would
but
be left on red.
right, but I'm not that type of petty. Somebody reaches out, I never ignore people. I'm going to say I'm good, blah, 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 blah. And then she would always reach out when she was having issues. She got married.
Mhm.
And I was like, "I don't know. This seems kind of quick. You get
Mhm.
married, you barely know the person. Sure enough, things didn't work out. She cheated. They
Mhm.
eventually get a divorce. During that whole process of her getting a divorce, who's she calling? Me. You're the only person I could talk to. I can't really talk to my family or anything about this. I know I could be open and honest with you, and you're gonna get me real." Right. I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh yeah, I got your back." This was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I sent her a couple of text messages about the podcast. One she responded to, two she didn't, but I sent a lot of text messages, like mass text messages. So sometimes people didn't respond. I didn't really pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Somebody, a friend of mine was talking about this woman on the internet on Instagram. And I was like, wow, that looks like my friend.
Yeah.
Should have made me think about it. And I was like, yo, I haven't talked to her in a while. I should just reach out to see how she's doing. So
Mhm.
I reached out this week. I reached out on something like Monday.
Mhm.
And it was like, "Hey, how you doing? I haven't talked to you in a while. Friend brought up somebody that kind of resembled you and thought I'd reach out and see how you're doing." She's like, "Hey, wow, hey, everything is good. I'm married. I have a 2-year-old, and I'm stationed at Fort Belvoir
Mhm.
because she was in the armed forces."
Mhm.
And I said, "Wait a minute, what?" That's a lot to have happened in 2 years, because the last time I
Yeah.
talked to her was 2 years ago. She
Yeah.
was in the process of getting a divorce. So you're married with a 2-year-old, and I don't know anything about this. And guess where Fort Belvoir is?
I don't know.
DC. So she was in Alabama. She was in Alabama, Arkansas, or something like that when she was
Mhm.
going through the divorce.
Mhm.
Now she's in DC. And I was like, well, hold on. So you got married,
Mhm.
you had a 2-year-old, and you're right down the fucking road,
Mhm.
and you didn't reach out not one time, but yet you were constantly reaching out when you were going through it, knowing that I was the only one you could talk to.
Mhm.
I was like, I texted you a couple times about the podcast. You didn't respond back. Really? I didn't. I was like, do you have the same number? Same number. I was like, Okay. She was like, I don't have it in my thread. I was like, oh, it's because you probably deleted it.
Mhm.
She was like, oh, you keep receipts. I was like, well, I just don't delete text messages because you just never know when you got to call
Yeah.
somebody out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. And then try to continuously have a conversation. I got real short with my answers because I was like, oh, so you only fucking reach out when you're in need.
Mhm.
But I'm not truly a friend of yours. So since I'm not truly a friend, you didn't tell me about you getting married. You didn't tell me about You having a kid. You didn't tell me that you moved back into the area. Take care of yourself.
This is why you get on my fucking nerves, Bruce.
Wait a minute. What did I do?
Because she already told you y'all weren't friends.
Yeah.
And that's when you should have left her on red.
Hold on. When she said that, I was like, oh, we're not. And then as she was thinking about it, she was like, you're the only one that was there for me. You're the only ones that supported me. And don't get me wrong, she's got some issues with abandonment and things of that nature. But that's the reason why I chalked it up to the game, because I do that. There are times where I think that I'm not friends with people and I actually am. But okay, you're right. I'd be fucking up.
Yeah. You cannot keep continuing to make the mistake that you thinking you're friends with somebody.
Yeah.
I don't do that. And I actually said that to somebody once. It was I was involved in her it's like life coach business, right? I would do her photography and videography. I understood that this is a business relationship. You call when you need photography and videography services. I was never under the impression that we were friends. So I'm posting a lot about her business, different events she got coming up. Then I have my own event and it's crickets on her page. So the next time she hit me up to photograph something, I sent her a bill. And she was like, oh, I thought we were friends. I don't understand where this is coming. It's coming out of left field. And I said, I never made the mistake of thinking you were my friend. This was always business.
Wait a minute. Did you know that she wasn't your friend, or did you realize she wasn't your friend when she didn't post anything on her page after you had been an advocate for her?
No, that's when I realized our business relationship was unequal.
Ah, okay.
That's when I realized our business relationship was unequal. But I never make the mistake of thinking that somebody is my friend when the relationship is clearly fucking one-sided. Homegirl didn't do a fucking thing for you, Bruce. Never. But you so intent on rescuing motherfuckers and giving people the benefit of the doubt that you keep putting yourself in this situation. You should have never gotten involved with her personal business if this motherfucker is not your friend.
Well, I didn't know that she wasn't my friend.
She told you we're not friends like that.
And then she was like, no, you're absolutely right. We are friends. But I should have been at that moment. And it's not like I tell her shit about me. Right? It's not
but it's also not like she ever asked.
Or maybe actually people, I don't know. People do ask, and I just don't be sharing shit. So sometimes,
but that's one thing, but that's not what this situation was.
No, this
is somebody using you.
Yeah.
For when they are in need and feel like you would understand their situation, but it was 100% one-sided.
Yeah, it was. It was one-sided. Yeah.
This person was not ever your friend.
Yeah, I don't really believe it.
She told you that, realized she said the quiet part out loud and tried to backtrack because she still needed you for stuff.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. Please stop doing that. Honestly, I need you to write down a list of all the people you consider a friend and let me interrogate this list.
Because of this situation this week, I revisited an issue that I have with you know what? It's all my female friends, and that's my fucking problem. I need to cut off all these fucking females that are supposedly platonic, that are using me to for whatever reason. Because I have another friend that I'm just like, yo, you DM me, I respond back with memes and stuff. You don't ever really fucking respond back. But then you'll randomly hit me up. I haven't seen you in a while. Let's hang out. But like you.
Yeah, but where were you on that list of people she asked to hang out with? What number were you?
Right. Because she be out doing things and I don't ever get no invite.
And you still calling these people. Like,
I don't call her my friend anymore. It was this week I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to. Good luck to her. And so she sent me something and I was just, for once, I ignored it. And I have been, look, as I've gotten older, I've been revisiting these issues. I haven't really had these issues. This just showed me who she was completely. I thought that we were at a different point, but when I was like, oh, you're here and you haven't reached out to me? Okay, cool. That's all I need to know. I'm disappointed, but it's not like I'm angry or upset or anything. And it's not like me not talking to her changes my life in any way. It doesn't. I don't
Yeah,
really
because
give a
she
shit.
was not your friend.
Yeah. But
If I lose a friend, a person that I call a friend, if I were to lose one of my friends, I would feel that.
yes.
That's how you know a person is not your friend.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And then so even listening to you tell the story, like we supposed to be friends, you didn't even tell me you was a she already told you y'all weren't friends.
yeah. 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 You're right. You're right.
You gotta listen to people when
Yeah,
they
I do.
talk.
I do.
Okay.
I'll be
You
thinking,
probably got a laundry list of people that
Mm.
are using you for your emotional labor.
not anymore. Not anymore. Because when I turned 43, I started cutting people off.
Because if they call you and it's always some shit,
But I'm also messy, so I like hearing bullshit. Like I like hearing shit.
but don't mistake these people for your friends. Stop
Right.
calling them your friends.
Right. Yeah.
Just know that this is a person that calls me. They use me for my emotional labor. I'm messy, so I like to hear their stories. But just know that there's no equity in this relationship because they don't give a shit about my bullshit.
Yeah. No. I see. I feel like you're not understanding me when I explain. I'm not. I hadn't reached out to her in 2 years, so she wasn't. I didn't have this idea that we were these great, great friends. I assumed that if she was back in town, that she would reach out and be like, "Hey, I'm back in town. How have you been?"
Because you assumed she was a friend.
I
'Cause
assumed that at the very least she was friendly with me. How about that?
Even what you thought she should have said, "Hey, I'm back in town. How have you been?" When has
Yeah.
she ever said, "How have you been?"
After I asked her how she'd been.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but you know what? It's crazy because then sometimes I think, well, I'm friendly with somebody, but they're not really my friend.
Mm.
And then the podcast has shown me who's like, I've got people out there who are legitimately my friends that I didn't realize that they were my friend. I had a friend call me this weekend and they were like, "Hey, do you want to go to happy hour?" I was like, "Yeah, it's cool." And we've been trying to connect for a little while. And I was like, "Yeah, that's cool. Let's go to happy hour." And I was like, she's about to tell me some bullshit. We're going to happy hour because she got some bullshit going on. I know what it is.
Mm.
And we go to happy hour and I'm like, "So what's up?" She's like, "No, I just wanted to hang out." What? Like it took me aback. I was like, "You ain't got no bullshit going on that you need to talk about?" No, I just wanted to hang out.
Yeah.
Like we hung out a few weeks ago in a group setting, but she was like, "We haven't had no one-on-one time in a while." And I wanted to catch up.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh." And then as we're talking, she was like, "Yeah, I remember you said that on your podcast." I was like, "Oh, you listen?" She's like, "Not to every episode, but I try and listen as much as I can." I was like, "You're really my fucking friend. Like, you're really my friend."
It's you need to start interrogating why you misidentify friendship so often.
I misidentify relationships so often because
Yeah.
I as we were giving advice to people perception and reality, my perception is, this is what this is. And that's not whatever.
But that you equate the relationship to being used in some way.
What? Huh?
Like it's like that you call friends people who there's no equity in that relationship. It's just you being counted on.
Yeah, it's called trauma.
And when there are people where there's actual equity in your relationship, they want to spend time with you because they enjoy your company.
I think it's an ulterior motive.
Then you're like, "Oh, this person's my friend."
Shut up.
Like, is this what friendship means?
Yeah, I guess I've always had a bad judgment when it comes to, I've had bad judgment when it comes to relationships all my life, no matter what they are. Friends, family, romantic, really piss poor. And there's probably there's a reason behind it. I haven't pinpointed it yet. I haven't pinpointed it. There's a reason behind it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, even I came to the realization much earlier than you did. But when I met my best friend, Well, I'd known her since I was 12, but we became best friends when we were about 16, 17 years old. And I saw the difference between my friendship with her, where there was equity, and my friendship with other people where there wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Where she, because she loved and cared about me, would tell me when I was being stupid. Whereas people who didn't give a damn about me would just co-sign whatever bullshit I would say. Like that teaches you the difference, like, oh, this is an actual friend. And these people are not that.
Mm-hmm. But it'd be weird sometimes because I've got friends in my life who co-sign everything that I do, and I'm just like, no, I need you to correct me. And I know that they love and care about me. I'm like, no, I need you to call me out on my bullshit. And then I have other friends who
Well, that's
love,
just an enabler.
yeah. And I have other friends who love to call me out on my bullshit. I'm like, damn, I need you not to call me out so much.
Right.
But then I can't trust them around in certain situations. I've got a lot of.
You need to start pruning that tree. I'm sorry, you did start pruning that tree.
To me, I say friends, but to me, I always equate it to if I stop talking to this person, because you know me, I can cut a person off. If I stop talking to this person, would it bother me?
Yeah.
We have a mutual friend that one time said, like, we had a disagreement. It was like, I don't know if we can be friends anymore.
Mhm.
And that shit hurt because it was like a big brother.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yo, I really love this dude. That shit hurt. Then I've had other people be like, well, we can't be friends anymore. And I'd be like, okay.
Yeah. Reason and season. You know, I say that all the time. People ain't like for reason and season.
So I know who really matters to me by if I sit and think about it, if I never spoke to them again, would it bother me?
Yeah.
And it's like 3 or 4 people that are not blood.
That's really how it is.
Yeah. That's so
really
when I say friends, I really mean friendly.
Yeah, you know me that I'm very, very picky about using the word friend.
I know.
Like for me, you're not my friend, you're my coworker. You know, do you have my personal number? Do I ever call you to hang out? I don't do any of those things. We only interact at work. You're not my friend, you're my coworker. And I'm not delusional enough to assume otherwise, you know, or like, you know, it's just, you got to be more selective not because of them, but for yourself. Like, you deserve equity in your relationships. Whether or not you see that, you deserve to have people just contact you because they need something from you.
Hold on now. I feel like in the last 2 years, I've done a real job of weeding these people out.
But we still have this conversation every after hours.
No, we don't. No, we don't. And this was just an interesting story this week because I was like, at the very least, if you didn't consider me friend, we were friendly.
Yeah.
And I know I have a lot of people because of what I do that I'm friendly with that have moved away. And when they come in town, they'll be like, hey, I'm in town. Would you like to get together? And I'm like, I didn't know that we was on that level, but okay, I guess we can get together.
But that's not a symbol of friendship. I've gone home and not seen my best friend. And that's my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what defines a friendship.
I said friendly. I said friend. See, I say friends, and what I really mean is I'm friendly with the person.
Then you got to find another word.
Yes.
Acquaintance, associate.
But when you tell people that they're an acquaintance and associate, they get offended. Well, no, I'm your friend. I'm like, I'm friendly with you. I don't like hurting people's feelings.
But again, that's that's it right there.
I'm done with this therapy session. I don't want to talk about this no more.
They will live. They will be just fine.
I don't know.
If you tell them, cool. hey, no.
I don't know. I'm pretty cool. People like being my friend.
People will be all right.
I don't know. Some people.
People like the amount of labor you're willing to put up for very little in return. That's what they like.
Yeah, that's the story of my life.
Yes.
You
You need to cut that shit out.
When you're the middle child, you're able to do shit like that. You're able to go off on your own. I'm the oldest. That's fucked.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I'm just trying to put some blame on it, not take responsibility. Yeah,
No.
like I said, I'm disappointed because at the
Yeah.
very least, I thought we was friendly,
Yeah.
and the fact that is the way it is now. Okay, so she could say right now, "Hey, I got a friend. Let me tell you how fucked up I am. I got a friend who lives right down the road. This is a friend.
Okay.
She's a friend, okay? And I know that she's a friend because anytime she's doing something, she always invites me out. And anytime I invite her out, she always pops up. Even if it's inconvenient for her, she pops up. She lives right down the road.
Yeah.
And she was like, when are you going to come and visit? They bought a house. Her and her husband bought a house 2-3 years ago. When are you going to come and visit me? You live right down the road.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I'm going to come do it. 2-3 years, I still haven't done it. She has every right to be like, I don't fuck with Bruce no more.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, when we get off of this, I'm gonna reach out to her and be like, hey, what is your schedule for the next couple of weeks? I need to come down there and visit you. Because I do need to come down and visit her because she is legitimately my friend. Yes, I needed to do more examinations. What's up, Roni? About friendship. But I'm tired of talking about this shit. Let's talk about the fact that I thought that your wig wasn't all right.
Yes. This is a headband. This is not, my wig is not sliding off my head. It's a headband. It is a headband wig. I just got my locks tightened. They look fantastic. I'm very excited about like how far they've come, like transitioning to locks. Like I'm very happy, but they're still not in a place where I can just wear my hair out. So I do have a bunch of like headband wigs because they're very easy to wear. You just shake them bad boys and go. And that's what I like. I'm not gonna do no whole gluing down the baby hair. I'm not gonna do all of that. Okay. I'm not gonna have no 40-inch bust down. It's a nice little bob. Keep it natural. But no, my wig is not sliding off my head. It is a headband.
And even though you got the new light and you are shining bright, skin is flawless and you don't look no 41. Goddamn.
Yeah, somebody lied to me the other day. So they were trying to sell me a timeshare. So this is how I know it was a lie. So I was at a hotel picking my friend up. We were gonna go get some dinner, and they were like, the person that worked there was like, "You travel?" They were at a little podium and stuff. You travel? I said, "Yeah, I travel." Already in my mind, I'm like, "This is about to be some timeshare. This is about to be some timeshare mess," and I know it. Well, listen, hey, you come for our talk, our presentation. It's 2 hours. I can hook you up with a free vacation and a cruise. So I'm gonna go back and do it, but I'm gonna let them know I ain't buying no timeshare. But she said, you just got to be over 28. Are you over 28? I said, God bless you for saying that. Yes, I'm very much over 28. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm absolutely over 28. And then she was like, I asked because I didn't think that you were. And then everybody, all the hotel workers all chiming in. And I'm like, y'all full of it. I'm 40 years old. And I absolutely look 40 years old.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Because 40 years old is not 90. It's 1 year over 39. It's not that old.
All right. So before this goddamn Thanksgiving, and I blame Cracker Barrel.
You should.
I was down in my weight, skin was flawed. That night that we went out to the bar, like I was like, oh, I'm holding it the fuck down. And I'm not holding it the fuck down anymore. I look in the mirror, I'm like, God damn, what the fuck's going on? So I need to get back to my shit.
Yeah.
But I have this weird thing in my dating life, whereas the women my age tend to look old. Like old.
What race are they? Because as you know, black does not crack.
Black doesn't crack.
Well aware.
Black doesn't crack if you take care of yourself.
True. Like hard living on anybody is just gonna show up on you.
Right. All right. I want to thank everybody for watching and listening to the show. I want to wish everybody a happy holiday weekend. Once again, there won't be an episode releasing this upcoming Tuesday, but we will be back for the Sibling Happy Hour next Friday. And once again, if you miss us, we will still have original content on our YouTube page. We are going to have 3 different YouTube exclusives that's going to be airing over the next 7 days. So check those out. Also, clips from our other shows. If you haven't watched or listened to the full shows, clips for our other shows. And then once again, you can always join our Patreon. And within a couple of months, you won't have to join the Patreon because I know some people don't know how to really work Patreon, which is just a website that you sign up to. But what we're going to start doing is offering memberships for our After Hours Uncensored and special exclusive stuff on our YouTube page. Memberships will be just like the Patreon, and we will announce them when we release them. But on that note, enjoy your weekend. Take some time to yourself, reflect, love yourself. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And until next time, as always, I'll holla. Woo! That was a hell of a show. Thank you for rocking with us here on Unsolicited Perspectives with Bruce Anthony. Now, before you go, don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, comment, and share our podcast wherever you're listening or watching it to it. Pass it along to your friends. If you enjoy it, that means the people that you rock will enjoy it also. So share the wealth, share the knowledge, share the noise. And for all those people that say, well, I don't have a YouTube. If you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can actually watch our video podcast and YouTube exclusive content. But the real party is on our Patreon page, After Hours Uncensored and Talking Straight-ish. After Hours Uncensored is another show with my sister. And once again, the key word there is uncensored. Those are exclusively on our Patreon page. Jump onto our website at unsolicitedperspective.com for all things us. That's where you can get all of our audio, video, our blogs, and even buy our merch. And if you really feel generous and want to help us out, you can donate on our donations page. Donations go strictly to improving our software and hardware so we can keep giving you guys good content that you can clearly listen to and that you can clearly see. So any donation would be appreciative. Most importantly, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for listening and watching and supporting us. And I'll catch you next time. Audi 5000. Peace.